Jermaine Ellis, talk about your bike. Okay, well, here we have it. This is my bike here. So this bike here is called Ride1UP, and I was actually looking to get like a brand new bike online about 3 months ago, and the problem I was really running into was I wanted to get a bike that I could get another battery for, a second battery, and I found this one on Craigslist. It was $800, and then it came with a second battery for another $300. So for $1,100, I got, a bike with 2 batteries. So that was that's a really, really good price. If I would have went to the website and got one of their bikes, it would have been, I think it was like $1,800, and then the batteries were like an extra $600 just because it's a brand new battery, But yeah, here's the bike here. I like it. It's good enough. It's one of my favorite bikes that I've owned so far, just because it's really, really light. It also does not have fenders. So it's one of those bikes that if it's raining, you kind of don't want to ride this bike because you're going to get like, the water trail all on the back of you. Unless you put fenders on. I don't really want to put fenders on this bike because it didn't come with fenders, but it works. It works pretty well without fenders. I mean, if it's raining, I'm probably just gonna drive my car. Before, I did not have a car, so it's like if it's raining, I'm always gonna be on the bike. But if it's not raining, I'll just, ride the bike then, So the battery, there's 2 batteries. This one is a little bit larger than the second battery. Another thing I do like about this bike, if I just use the throttle, it's pretty much like any normal e-bike. I can get about 25-mile range. However, a lot of times I want to stretch that out. Like I want to ride for 50 miles. So what I usually do is just ride the bike on 0 or ride the bike on 1. And if it's like flat surfaces, like down in Soma, because in Soma there's hella flat surfaces, I'll just like ride the bike on 0. And then if I got to go up a big hill, like if I'm going up, Sutter Street or Sacramento Street, I'll just, put it on 2 or either put it on 3 and pedal up. And then as soon as I get to the top of the hill, I'm just like, yeah, whatever. We'll just, use 0 to go all the way back down. So that's one thing I do like about it. It's pretty cool. Yeah, but for the most part, it's been a quite simple bike. It's a little bit smaller, which, I don't know, I'm used to being on a bigger bike, but it is a little bit smaller. But I really don't mind. Sometimes I feel like, I just recently raised the seat. The seat was lower, and I felt like with the seat lower, I can just really ride faster on it, because with the seats higher, the seat's just higher up. I almost want to like lower the seat again. It's pretty cool. Would I buy this bike again? I would definitely buy this bike again. Just because it's a little bit lighter. So on my rad bike, I want to say my rad bike with all the extra weight, because if you can see, there's no baskets, there's no racks, there's no fenders, so there's less extra weight. So with the rad bike, it was like 90 pounds, but this bike is right around like 70 pounds. Now the lock is gonna add a little bit more weight to it, but honestly, you need a really decent lock around here. I would not recommend anyone to use a lock smaller than this one. If you're in San Francisco, this is like the best lock to use. The only downside about this lock is it's small, but it's also really heavy. I want to say it weighs like 5 or 6 pounds. On this bike, this lock can casually fit here. Every now and then I'm, jamming through traffic, and the lock moves around, but usually it just kind of sits there and hangs out, and I love it. What about the brakes? This is one thing I'm gonna have to point out. This is one thing I kind of don't like about this bike, is on most e-bikes that I've ridden, all my other e-bikes, if you want to change the brakes or tighten the brakes, it's really easy to tighten the brakes. You just use a key lock, and you just stick it through, and then you can turn it, and you can get access to the brake pad there, so you can tighten it and loosen it. This bike, it's just built different, so to get access to the brake pad, you got to take the whole brake off just to turn it, and then you got to put it back on. that might be a problem for a lot of people, especially if you're a delivery person and you're just running the bike all the time. With the front, you don't have to take it off because you're able to stick it through. So you can easily get through there. But on the back, you definitely gotta take it off, which is, I mean, honestly, it's a little annoying because you for real gotta take 3 screws off just to tighten 1 screw versus just to tighten that 1 screw. So that is one thing that's kind of annoying. I kind of like the handlebars. They're a little different. They kind of stick out more. I did add this little bell to it. I like the display gauge. When I first got this bike, I had like 46 miles on it, and then I went for one ride. One ride was like 52 miles. So in one ride, I put like double the miles on it that it was already on the bike, which is pretty awesome, pretty cool. The power, you can go pretty fast on this bike. It's really light, so by being light, it's easy to get up and go on this joint. I love these tires, these small hybrid tires. These are great for the city. These tires last a really long time. I probably won't have to replace these unless like I run over like a really big nail or something. But back to the speed, because it goes up to 28 miles an hour. However, to go up to 28 miles an hour, you got to be doing some pedaling. You know, you got to be really doing some pedaling. Like I say, it's a little bit easier to pedal on this bike because it's so light. So yeah, you can get up to speed on it. I kind of want to upgrade the brakes to hydraulic brakes, just so I don't have to worry about tightening the brakes. But for the most part, it's a pretty chill bike. It has pretty strong kickstand on it, as you can see. Kickstand is very important because on a lot of electric bikes, the kickstand will break, and like that's one thing you'll have to replace is the kickstand on the bike. So it's got a good strong kickstand. It also was this is a 750. So yeah, 750 watt motor. That's a nice bike. Ride1UP. This is the charging cord right here. At first I thought this was a USB port, but it's not a USB port. This is the charger hole. But yeah, it's a pretty nice bike, pretty sweet. I like how they got all the cords wrapped up in here. It's pretty fun. Yeah, it's a pretty cool bike. But for now, I'm gonna wrap this one up. If y'all got any questions about the bike, let me know. But here we go. Just wanted to make a video talking about the bike. It's pretty cool. It's pretty nice. It's pretty fly. But anyway, we out. Like, comment, subscribe. Thanks a lot for watching. And peace out, yo. Ow!